Hello everyone, this is me, Dusty Circuit here, and welcome to some more Fortnite with Skade.
Hello.
Welcome.
I think that this is the first year we have had since 2020 where life is becoming a little bit normal again. It's not perfect. There's still stuff that's uncertain. There's still a lot of stuff going on. Hey, Schulte. But I think that personally, this is the first year where we've had the closest thing to what we had before the pandemic, since 2020. And so I think a lot of people are trying to find themselves. I think a lot of people are trying to reintegrate into what society was before we faced these shutdowns and this kind of horrific, situation we've had. I could be wrong because it's been a very gradual thing, but I have kind of wondered, like, because this really is the first year. This is like the most lax year we've ever had in terms of the cases, variants, health, and I really can't help but wonder if maybe that's not contributing to a lack of activity on Skade, because it isn't even just Skade. I've noticed that it's in other communities. I've noticed less people are just around in general, even in real life, I've noticed people are a lot less, just involved in things, and I kind of wonder if it's because of that.
I think it's a big mix of things. I think that's definitely part of it because I have noticed, myself, I have been more, we're going to a concert today. I went to a concert a couple weeks ago. I'm noticing I'm starting to get back to what life was like for me before the pandemic. But exactly. We do have quite a few families on vacation right now, and a lot of them are kind of saying the same thing, which is I haven't been on vacation in 3 years. So so I think a lot of us are just trying to get back to, and some of that, it doesn't even need to necessarily be vacation. It's I'm going out with some friends tonight. I got invited to go bowling. I got invited to go to a movie, and I haven't done that stuff for a few years. So I'm gonna go do it.
2 years ago, I would never go to a gym with somebody because I couldn't. Like, the most I could do as far as socialization was concerned was essentially just go, on nights out with some of my friends, and that's kind of it. Now, the gym situation is back to normal where I live. There are no awkward bookings, even when you were allowed outside, you were only allowed to go to the gym if you could book it in advance. They only took bookings. Now things are back to normal where you can now rock up anytime you want and just pay when you're there. So I think the world is starting to return to normal, and I think that people are playing catch up at the same time. So I think that you have this kind of simultaneous shift of inactivity. I'm starting to do things that I would have done pre-pandemic. I'm starting to organize more things in real life. I'm starting to busy myself with other commitments, and I think that stuff that last year I would not have been able to do. So I think a lot of it's that. I think that, and it's the same for everybody, and I think that it sucks because you do see that spike in kind of inactivity in kind of everywhere, like on Skade, on other communities, and but I really think I think that a lot of it just is it's just that the world has gained a sense of normality again, and I think people are just trying to cash in on that as quickly as they can and make up for lost time. I'm organizing. Interestingly, I have a coworker who goes to the gym quite a lot, and he was asking if I'd be interested in joining him because he doesn't like working out on his own, and I said absolutely, because it will be easier. My friend who goes to university, I've been going with him, but I do it in a gym that's out of town, and that's great because it's right there for when I coach. But he's going away to university at some point again after he's gone. He's going on holiday in a week, and then right after he's going back to university. So I'm not gonna have anybody to go with. But in my local town, there's a gym, and so one of my coworkers is doing that, and another coworker just 2 weeks ago was asking about the gyms here, and said he was kind of curious about signing up. So I might see if there's a chance we can get a group going with that, and see if anybody else would be interested, which is quite exciting.
Yeah.
You say with such confidence. I know, I get it. You're just focused. You're like, yeah.
Oh,
That's
it's Rumble.
Rumble.
Yeah, I don't know why it's showing.
Oh, also, by the way,
yeah.
I'm really sorry it took me so long, but I'm gonna have the scribe article thing finished tonight.
Okay. Oh,
I'm
I
really
meant to
sorry,
ask what was going on because I remember you're like, I'm gonna have it out on time, and then, and we were all on the call, and then I was like, oh, did you need that pinged? And then it was an afterthought, you know, like.
Yeah, sorry.
One of those things. I was like, oh no, you're fine.
I was gonna have it. I kind of was able. I gained a bit of a burst of energy with it, and I really was on a roll with it. But then I got kind of pulled away, and I forgot about it. And then I was gonna do it yesterday, but it's awkward when you have when I had all the stuff going on yesterday that I did. But I have some free time since I'm not going to the gym tonight. I have some free time this evening, so I'm gonna finish it.
Okay, cool.
I apologize.
You don't need to apologize. You don't need to apologize at all.
I suppose not, but I did say I'd have it done on the day, and I didn't, and that's I shouldn't.
Okay, like I said, it was just more like I was like I'd forgotten about it.
Yeah.
And then I had remembered it, and then I'd forgotten about it.
Fair enough.
Forgotten about it.
Yeah, I think
no worries.
I want to. My goal is to have it done before our next meeting on Sunday when the Moodle's back. So I'm gonna have it done for them.
Sounds good.
Be nice to have a Moodle back. I want to. I don't want to edit. The one who edits. I'm good at it, but.
But it's not your job.
It's not my job, and I don't want to, you know, I don't want people to suffer from having it delayed just because I can't do it, you know?
Yeah, no, I get that. That's how I feel about a lot of stuff when I'm, like, trying to, like...
I'd rather...
make myself just finish something. I'm like, I don't want anyone else
it's annoying.
Me.
Exactly, and it's an annoying dilemma too, because I can have it on time so people aren't waiting for it, but not give it the best quality, or I can really sit there and do it to the best of my ability and give the best possible version that I'm capable of, but then it means people have to wait a rather, you know, extra few days, which doesn't make me happy either. So I think that when it's in somebody else's hands who can just focus all their time on that, it means that there'll be a lot more. You'll get that quality and that diligence of time at the same time.
Yeah.
God, I'm tired. Work was very interesting today, I'll just say.
Something happened?
Not really. It was just kind of an awkward shift, if I'm being honest. Like, you know, people were being very strange.
It's a simulation.
They weren't. I wouldn't be surprised. They weren't behaving how they usually behave. And if it was one coworker, behaving strangely, I'd have been a bit like, okay, I guess they're just having a bit of an off day. But like, it was almost everybody. And the only person who wasn't going crazy was my friend's brother, my coworker's brother, who now works with us.
Yeah, you told me about that.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. He's like, he's only 16, but he's a good guy. I don't know what it is. I get on really well with people who are older than me or younger than me. I don't get on with people my own age. I just don't.
I think that's a very common autism thing, because I'm the exact same.
That literally was me in high school.
Yeah.
I don't have people who are 19 who I fully align with, but if it's somebody older than me, like, I feel like I connect with them on that kind of mature level. But if it's somebody younger than me, I really connect with them because I think that they like kind of what I say, and I think that I'm able to be more confident around them because there's not that same. I'm not trying to impress them.
Well, with me, it was just at least at that time, I was at that age where basically kids, like, you go from a kid to a teenager, and a teenager is like, it's like you're beginning the process of becoming an adult, and you think you're all big and cool, and better than everybody else, but you're not, and so you're trying to like be edgy and stuff, and you know.
I think that like see for me,
and I was not like that.
I think that a lot of people, and that's kind of why I never really got along with people my own age, is because the people older than me had themselves figured out, so I could just talk to them like normal individuals, and the people younger than me weren't in that cycle yet of, I'm going to be really weird and reckless, so I was able to just kind of find common ground with them. But the people my own age were in these phases that I was just not in, or these kind of like states of mind that I just could not relate to, and so it was very hard for me to kind of gravitate towards them and be around them.
Yeah,
but
I was like that a lot through school too. Even now, I'm kind of still like that.
I mean, yeah, you very much are. But I think it's a good trait. Like I think it's a very uncharacteristic one. And there are times where I really wish I did have friends my own age, just so I could feel a little bit less weird. But I think it's just whatever is natural is natural. You know, I don't think I can force the dynamics I create with people. I just happen to be somebody who befriends older and younger people, and there's nothing wrong with that. Some people get on really well with their own age groups, and that's fine, and they can't really be friends with older people and younger people. So I think it just is a personality thing. And I think that people should, you know, I wish people weren't so weird about that. I've had people say it's very weird that I'm friends with people younger than me, and I'm like, why? He said, I think that they, you know, if any, the thing for me is, and I think the reason is because I don't view it as an age thing. I don't view it as I need to be friends with somebody my own age. I see it as I want to be friends with somebody who is mature and I can mentally see eye to eye with.
And like-minded.
Yeah, I don't care how old somebody is if they're like-minded and they are, you know, and the age gap isn't, you know, obviously weird. If they're somebody who is within a small amount of years to me, and they, you know, and they're younger than me, but they're emotionally intelligent, or I at least have, you know, common interests, or, you know, like a good kind of dynamic with. I don't care how old they are. Same if it's somebody older than me. If we can have a good conversation, if we have common interests and we have a good bond, I don't care about the age. I really don't.
Same.
I'll only care about the age for one thing and one thing only, and that's my own self-conscious attitude, and that's something I'm still working on. Sometimes I'm self-conscious about the fact that I have older and younger friends, and it's not because I'm embarrassed by them or I am embarrassed about them, because I'm not, because they're very, you know, they're very special people to me. It's that I worry about how others will perceive me for having that kind of dynamic.
I feel very seen right now.
and I'm trying to learn to not care about that, because what really matters is me and my friends. If I have friends who are older than me, then so what? If I have friends that are younger than me, so what? But I'm still learning to kind of just not care about what people might say or might think about those things.
Yeah.
But it's not the most common thing, and I think people are kind of...
Unfortunately, like, for me, well, I mean, it also wasn't that big a deal, but my mom, like, would get skeptical of me being friends with people either much younger than me or much older than me, but my mom's weird, so it's fine.
I think that, like, the biggest thing... Oh, sorry.
It's good to be, I was just going to say, it is good to be a little skeptical, especially if this is something newer that your kid's not used to having. It's good that a parent at least checks to see what are the intentions of this friendship.
But I feel
hold on, let me finish. If you're 12 and you have a 25-year-old friend, as a parent, you should be. Now, when you find out, okay, you're both on an autism server, you both love playing Minecraft together, and you're just, you know, there's no ill intentions.
Yeah.
The mom can determine that and then, you know, say, okay, this friendship can go forward. But if you don't have, you have to figure out what those intentions are. For us here, it's like-mindedness. We're with other autistics. We're with other people that enjoy gaming. You know, we have our common stuff here that we do. But if you just had someone randomly message you and want to be your friend, and you know, Dusty, if let's say you're 25 and they're 55, you would be like, well, why do you want to be my friend? You know?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly, and I think that you have to, and I think that what people have to look at is like for example with me, although I put in 100% of into my friendships. If I'm friends with anybody who's younger than me, especially if they are still under 18, it is my personal responsibility to make sure that I'm very clear to people that I have no ill intentions, and that my intentions are 100% pure and are from a place of but it depends on the age gap. If as Blue said, like if I was 25 and I was friends with a 13-year-old, first of all I would never do that because that's just weird. But yeah, it's absolutely right. It's the parents' responsibility to look at that and go, why is this adult? Why is this adult spending their time with somebody else? Because you make a conscious choice how you spend your time, and if you're choosing to spend your time with somebody who is, younger, who is basically a really really young person, then it's kind of like, well, why is that? And again on Skade, it's 100% that like-mindedness. It's those common interests. It's that I love this game and I can comfortably talk about it with anybody else.
Yeah,
but,
it's taking the weird out of it,
And it's just and just going back to like kind of how I was when I was in high school. It's just I'd rather talk to an adult than to an edgy teenager. That's just kind of how I felt.
That's how I felt too when I was younger. I didn't really fit in with people my age because people have especially people my age at the time, they had a very narrow-minded viewpoint on things, and wait, let's wait. Are we gonna get Schultz in? Stop.
Oh, it's too late.
No, I just stopped it.
Okay.
Let's see, Volky. Are you in game, Volky?
Well,
oh, there you are.
Literally
Okay.
in the lobby.
There you go. I didn't see him come in.
Apparently, I'm going into a game.
Just come back, Dusty. You can just escape and then.
I just hit return to lobby.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I think that if
By the way, I just learned this character that my skin is. I'm gonna get this game because my brother was telling me I should play it. The Witcher. Have you played it?
Yes. Yeah.
3. Do you have The Witcher 3?
I don't have it, but I've played it at a friend's house once. It's pretty good.
I don't have the game, but I've seen a lot of videos of it purely for benchmarking, yeah.
Yes, The Witcher 3, despite its quality of a game, The Witcher 3 is one of the most graphically demanding and most performance demanding games for a computer.
When it first came out, even the top end cards of its graphics cards of its time struggled to run it.
Oh yeah,
I'm probably gonna get, if I get it, it will be either for Riley's got the PS5, so maybe the PS5, if not my PS4.
If I was gonna say, because if
even
you
on Switch too, but I didn't know if that would cheese it out.
Even today's best graphics cards they don't falter anymore, but they definitely still do have to work hard to run the game. It's
my 1050 probably won't.
It won't
run it.
Yeah.
That's why I'm thinking console. Because I have a PS4 here in my room.
Maybe my RTX 3060 can do it at high, probably.
It probably can, because it's better than what the top end one card would have been when Witcher 3 came out. But it's a game that. But what I was gonna say is that the Witcher 3, because of its graphical intensity, a lot of people, when they're testing computer parts, they will often their go-to will be
game.
They will literally use that game because it is such
funny.
a perfect. Yeah.
That's really funny.
I know people who have bought it.
I saw it would be on Switch, and I was like, I could really use
the
new
it kind of
Switch
meets
game,
the requirements of a benchmarking game. Because it's if a graphics card can run this, well, it should be able to run everything else.
It's exactly that. Yeah, I know people who have bought it never to actually play the game, but purely for testing purposes because they own a lot of computers, and that's always very interesting to me. But yeah.
What about the back though? Was this one that had the iffy back? Oh, okay. I saw them. That tells you anything. Are there lines on them? Like zebra? That's the only thing. Do you have black ones? Oh, those kind of. Yeah, you should. I would still do it black. That's a very ghost style. Yeah. Are you gonna do like a black under the eye? I would. You should do no makeup. Just lightly like I did. You can. We're leaving in 30. We'll take a scrunchie with you. She didn't like her. Then no. Oh, that's cool. I'll wear one. He is?
Oh, yes, I have the new pistol. I have the mammoth pistol. Now it's game over. This is... It's literally just the revolver 2.0. Same. I've got so many good ones. When I was playing Fortnite Llamas, not this week, the previous week. It was yeah, I got a really good series of like shots with it, and really surprised myself. Or was it Outcast last?
It was
I don't remember.
Outcast.
Oh, it was Outcast. Yeah. Sorry. No, you're absolutely right. Yeah, it was. I'm just talking baloney. They're so satisfying, those shots. Excuse me.
And one more something here.
So tired. Oh.
Gotta open one more something. There it is. Got it. Yay. Did you say I hit 100? I'm so happy.
Well done.
I hit it yesterday in Llamas with Buddy. We were warming up with a duo. Yeah, it was fun.
Nice.
I was like, oh my gosh, I just hit 100. Riley's gonna be so mad. Because we try to always hit 100 together, like in a call together, you know, like in a game.
Poor
together.
Riley.
I know. They're getting ready right now. And's wearing her ghost shirt. It's really cute.
I heard her saying.
Yeah. We're leaving in like 30 minutes. We're going to Seattle. See Ghost. Yep. That DBY will be flying. I'm not sure where we'll be by around that time. Almost to Seattle. Oh, really?
Oh my god, what a good shot. I got a headshot from 116 meters with the thing, and it was a very awkward angle.
How did you do, though?
I hate you.
Just
get
you.
You're gonna miss me while you're gone. You're gonna miss me.
I'm gonna be anxious. I'm really not looking forward to this drive today. At all.
You're gonna miss making my life hell while you're around.
I'm sure I'll find a way to do that even from there.
True.
I don't doubt my abilities.
Well, you do doubt your abilities, just not with this.
True.
You're a very doubtful person, but I am too, so I understand.
Yes.
I had a very surprising moment at work today. So, I've watched a couple episodes recently of the show Stargate Atlantis. It's like a sequel to the original Stargate TV show. And it's a very old show, but it's very good. It's from like the early 2000s. And I was telling my friend at work about one of the episodes I had watched, which was really good. And I was playing a game with other Tom, and he had used characters from that. So I watched Stargate Atlantis because I wanted the context. And so anyway, I was talking about the episode's details. I didn't mention what show it was from. I was just talking about the details to my coworker. And out of nowhere, the customer goes, "You talk about Stargate Atlantis?" And I was like, "Yeah." And this guy was like probably about like 30 years older than me, and we ended up having a 20-minute conversation about Stargate.
Aww.
I
found a friend.
I swear, I have now. This is probably like the third or fourth time in like a year I have had customers who are older than me and wiser than me end up like taking about 20 to 30 minutes of my attention to talk about something.
Because they see it in you. You're like a magnet for it.
Well, it's
You're
funny
like,
because like
my people.
it's funny because I don't really. It's even funnier because I don't really think I give off that impression. But it's then obviously people hear me talk about things with passion and they just kind of get that impression from me. Like the guy was very invested in what I had to say about Stargate and my opinions on it. And I didn't have very thought-provoking opinions on it, mostly because I've only seen a few episodes of
It's probably
Atlantis.
like, oh, I never get to talk about my favorite show because everybody's too young. And
Well,
then
that's
they
kind
find
of-
you.
Well, that's exactly why I kind of try to be, like, that's why I try to really be open about how nerdy I am, because I think that people often, I think nerds are kind of everywhere, but I think that people don't really know it because, you know, for a long time, being a nerd was a very stigmatized thing, and I think that I think the more open you are about being a nerd, I think the more likely you are to invite that conversation.
Here, but it's just throughout my life and also kind of in this community, I've just learned the reality of that. Just like not enough people care about the things I like, and it's just
You'll
never know though unless you
that's
really
why
openly talk about a lot of them.
That's why you have to still do it.
But
Like, for example,
when I openly talk, I don't know. Let's say I decide to talk about computers, and you go, "Ew, tech." That goes off like.
That's just because I don't understand tech.
It's
Well,
kind
you
of like,
say it
but
a lot, Blue.
I don't understand tech a lot. That's
Blue,
why.
a lot of the time too, though, I think that people often, and I understand this frustration, so like I actually really do, because I've had this before. But I think that in my experience and kind of through dealing with other people, I've learned that when something like what Blue does, like the EU tech thing happens, that's not Blue trying to deflect the conversation or not caring about what you have to say. That's kind of a friendly way of kind of joking about what you're saying in a way where because if Blue didn't respect your interests and if Blue didn't respect what you
I'm seeing the light now, but like a couple years ago,
Yeah.
that insulted
Well, yeah.
me.
If Blue didn't respect your interests and didn't care about how passionate you're about these things, Blue wouldn't have said something like that. Blue wouldn't go EOTech. Blue would probably not say anything. It's the Blue respects you enough and respects your interests enough that making a joke about tech is okay for her, and it's the same with anybody who does that. And the thing is like you have to learn the balance. Like, for example, not everybody is going to like the thing you talk about, but everybody should respect it when you do. And that doesn't mean they have to listen and pretend to be interested if they really don't understand it. But it does mean that if you do occasionally talk about it, they should definitely at least let you talk about it. And the thing is, if you never talked about computers, Circuit, would you know I was interested in them necessarily? Would
No.
you have talked to me about? Would I have watched your computers series?
Yeah,
Would I have?
Yeah,
That's the thing.
For that it just Yeah, I am happy I opened up, but it's, you know...
It's hard to open up.
I guess it just comes down to just the whole... Just because I was never raised to be humorous, like I had to learn to be humorous. Kind of like...
I don't always... for what it's worth, Dusty, I'm used to this kind of humor, and even I still get frustrated. If I'm trying to talk about something I'm really passionate about and somebody makes it into a joke and will interrupt me just to make more cheap jokes, it can bother me sometimes too. But again, you have to learn that that's them trying to be friendly, and that's them trying to add something because they can't. They don't know anything about, like, for example, in your case, Blue doesn't know anything about tech. She still wants you to feel acknowledged, right? So I feel like, and I could be wrong here, so please correct me if I'm wrong, Blue, but I think that Blue does that more in a sense of, I don't want Dusty to feel like I'm not, acknowledging him, so I'm still going to say something so that Dusty feels like I listen, even if that's not something that can add necessarily or build on what you have directly said. And I think that, and that's honestly a good thing, Dusty. There are people, if you met people who really didn't care or really didn't like your interest, they wouldn't say anything or they would avoid it entirely. And I think that the fact that you and I still struggle to remember this myself, but I think that and sometimes when you're excited about something, you get tunnel vision on it. So if somebody doesn't respond exactly how you want them to, it kind of becomes a case of, okay, so they obviously just don't care about my interest. Never mind, I'm not going to open my mouth again, but do it, because one thing I have learned that people also really like is people like it when you're passionate about something.
Yeah.
People like it when you speak about something with its sheer intent and appreciation. And when you do that, that's actually a very attractive quality because it makes people respect your interests. It makes people go, wow, this person knows what they're talking about. This person has a sense of character. There's something that they do. There's something that they like that they put time into. And I think that is how you should look at things. And you also have to know your audience. Some people are never going to
know your audience is huge.
Some people, if I went into a Skade call, right, and we had a Moodle, Blue, and I'm just randomly handpicking people. But if I put a Moodle, Blue, and let's say, I don't know, we put Pizza in a call, who aren't really, and I could be wrong, but let's just assume that they aren't really into tech stuff. They aren't really into computers. They use it. They're familiar with the stuff, but they don't really understand how computers fully work. They don't know what a GPU is or what the latest, best model is. They just know, I have a graphics card, it works. If I started talking to them for 10 minutes straight about graphics cards and very specific technical details, they may not know how to respond, or it might be that they do respond, but it only lasts for a couple minutes and they move on to something else. That's not them being rude, and that's not them not caring about your interests. That's just they don't know. Sometimes it's better to not add to a conversation when you don't know what you're talking about than to pretend you do. And I much prefer that sincerity. If I don't understand what somebody's talking about, or I'm not fully interested, I will still show that interest, and I'll say, I don't really understand that, or I'm not really into that sort of stuff, but I think it's amazing that you are, and I do think, and I would like to learn more about it at some point. And I think it's just knowing when also just to kind of like take a break from what you're talking about. I've had to learn that sometimes. Like sometimes I can talk for far too long about things.
Yeah, and it's just, but the thing is, this is not like this goes back like even like this goes back into kind of this whole thing like that's we're talking about with me on Skade. Like, this is not the first time I've like had to contend with this. I've literally had to throughout my whole life. I've just like had people tell me not to let the conversation, every single conversation revolve around yourself. But
which is sound advice, but you can't take it to the point where you never talk about yourself. I think that's where a lot of people go wrong, and that's where I've gone wrong before. I for a long time wouldn't talk about myself at all to people because I didn't want to seem like I was dominating the conversation or I was making it about me. But you also, if you don't do that, then you're just going to be unhappy. So you should talk about yourself, but you have to do it in moderation so that in that entire hour, 45 minutes of it wasn't you talking about yourself. It was more like 15 was about you, 15 was about them, 30 of it was about something else that's completely unrelated. That's a conversation.
Yeah.
And I think too, like, and Blue will know this better than anybody. I will talk for a very long time about things I'm passionate about, and I think too is if you pick the right person to talk about this stuff with, it doesn't matter how long you talk about it for or how little they really understand about it, they will still really admire and appreciate your interest in it, and will still listen to the best of their ability. I think it was yesterday. Blue was telling me about this really cool ghost documentary show. I counted the minutes. I think it must have been like 15 straight minutes without taking a breath about it. And I'm not the most into ghost stuff, but what kept me engaged was the fact that Blue was very, very interested about it, and it was actually Blue's passion and enthusiasm about the show and kind of her description of it that made me at least want to check it out. And it doesn't mean that we'll necessarily have a really long, thought-provoking conversation directly about the show. Not necessarily, but Blue talked about an interest with me, and I listened, and we still had a good time about it. And I think that's how it should be with your tech conversations. Even if the people don't fully understand it or really so much, revolve their interests around it, they still at least have that patience. And I use that example, Blue, because you will do the same with me, where I might talk about something that you don't really have the same passion for or the same interest in.
History stuff.
Right, or a very specific fact about something, and Blue will still listen, and I have to remind myself that if it's a value exchange. Blue is an amazing friend and will listen to me ramble about the most specific stuff that she has every right to literally stop me mid-sentence and go, Evan, I'm not interested. But she's a good friend, and so she doesn't do that.
Yeah,
she lets me...
friend will sit and listen even if they're not interested, as long as it's in moderation. And that's the important thing, is, like you said, to just realize, okay, I've talked about something I'm really interested in, like for me, that ghost show yesterday, or talk about my favorite band, and then I have to say, okay, I should probably stop. I have to actually kind of say that to myself. I should probably stop because I'm dominating the talk, and sometimes that's okay. You're really excited about something, a friend will understand and be like, I'm going to give you an extra 20 minutes to talk about that because you clearly are really excited about that.
Well, and also, and the time will always, whether you realize it or not, that imbalance you might feel will always be made up. Maybe for 1 week.
Oh, it will be.
For 1 week, it's been nothing but me talking, and Blue has been doing most of the listening. But then, a week later or a month later, I realized, wow, this entire week has mostly just been me listening to Blue. So we've still had that equal amount of conversation. It's just spread differently. It depends on the day. It depends on our moods. It depends on our interests. And I use Blue as a very avid example because we have incredibly long conversations, and we're motor mouths. Once we get started, it's very hard to stop us.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. If you don't make a good friend, or you're in the wrong call, then you'll know that because the person is being very, very loud about how uninterested they are, which is very rude, by the way.
Yeah.
I think that
I hate that, and because they'll sigh or and you're like, I'm sorry, I know I'm talking a lot.
If I ever do that.
Bad.
If I ever do that in a conversation with somebody, especially if it's in a long one, I actually will sometimes stop and clarify. I'm not sighing because I'm bored. I'm just sighing because I needed to let out a sigh. Same with I'm yawning. If somebody's talking to me and I yawn, I very quick comment. I'm not yawning because I'm finding you boring. I'm yawning because I'm genuinely tired. I apologize. And I think that if you have somebody and you talk to them and you're really passionate about something and they're very rude about it, and they kind of they're so vocal about how disinterested they are, or they'll even go I really don't care, then you need to reevaluate if that's somebody you should even be talking to, because that person doesn't care about your interests. You should always have a friend who, even if they don't like the stuff you like, they at least still care about how much you care about it.
Yeah. Because we're all not going to like the same stuff. That's just a given. You can't live in an echo chamber forever. But if you find, someone that will at least respect you and, listen to you when you're excited.
It's like it doesn't, what should matter is not that is that people like appreciate like your passion for your interests. Like it shouldn't be
Yeah.
like.
Yep.
Just because somebody doesn't share your same interests, it doesn't mean you can't. It's impossible. Like friendship can't happen, you know.
My favorite thing about Blue, and I will sometimes tease Blue for it because because that's me and that's kind of our friendship dynamic. But I legitimately, like, for example, Pokemon. I'm not really into Pokemon. I think it's a cool game. I think it's a really neat thing, and I've had phases where I've played it. It's not my cup of tea. Blue is obsessed with Pokemon, and I might occasionally poke fun at that. But I really care about Blue as a friend, and so I love how much Blue loves Pokemon. And so even if there's a day where I'm not interested in a Pokemon,
I'm sorry to kind of butt in, but is it like using like when you say someone's obsessed with something, like does using the word obsessed like feel rude to you, like you're being rude to that person?
No,
not at all.
To me,
he's just saying exactly what it is.
To me, it's kind of. I think it depends on how you're using it. In the way I'm using it, I mean it in a 100% like positive. It's just Blue legitimately is hyper focused on Pokemon Go, and I'm Pokemon in general, and that's amazing. But my point is kind of. Because of how much I love Blue as a friend, it doesn't matter how little I care about Pokemon. I love that it's a game that makes Blue happy, and so I'm more than happy to listen for about 30 minutes to listen about a Pokemon event that I'm not going to be attending because that's going to be the highlight of Blue's day. Or that's something that, and also you have to think about it from another perspective. If that friend you have is talking to you specifically about something that you might not be interested in, you have to look at it and go, why are they talking to me about it and not somebody else? Is it because they really like me as a person? Is it because they feel like I'm the only person? Like I've often thought this. Like there are some people I'm not comfortable to talk for like 30 minutes straight to about a certain thing I'm interested in.
It's would you rather? Well, but it's also think about this. Would you rather talk about this wonderful thing you did today, like with a random stranger, or would you rather talk about that with your friend that you've known for a few years? That's
kind of my point, right? If people have to remember, if you have taken time out of your day to talk to them specifically about something you really are passionate about, even if they might know you're not interested, that you are not interested in it. You have to think, well, they obviously chose me for a reason. They obviously feel really comfortable to talk to me this long about something because they may not have anybody else who would afford them that same amount of time. I feel very lucky to know I have a lot of friends like Blue who I could speak for an hour about one particular thing, and it's not going to be met with an exasperated sigh or a frustrated voice. It's going to be met with even if it's not met with enthusiasm, it's at least met with respect.
Yeah.
And I have to think, well, I chose to talk to this person because I'm comfortable to do that with. I can't do that with everybody in my life. I can't talk for an hour straight about something with everybody in my life. So I think people also have to remember it's not just about them. It's not about if you're bored. It's about, is this the highlight of this person's day? Maybe you are the only person they can talk to about that for that long.
Yep.
Kind of how I like to see it. Blue, I've put Blue on the spot like 4 times in like 5 different examples.
Just here, like, I'm trying to get in this like zone of just calmness.
Oh, trust me, I get it.
We're leaving in like 13 minutes.
But I think that that's why I use Blue, because Blue is a very good example, and I think
so you're
and
going
understands.
to the concert literally after this is time.
Yeah, like in a few minutes. Yep, got a long way to go. Oh, yeah.
Kind of reminds me of like a few certain moments in my own life where like I try to do something I enjoy to kind of distract me from something that's really giving me anxiety that's about to happen.
sounds really cool. Oh, wow. Trying to get the pistol damage done. That's what the one I'm focusing on, the challenge I'm focusing on right now. The shotgun one. I'm looking. I have the shotgun. I've got to do that. Kill those dinosaurs, but I don't see any dinosaurs right now. I forget, the pistol is so underrated. Like, the pistol is just so great. I forget this sometimes. You get stuck in the whole, it has to be this, you know, certain AR. Not really.
Oh, it just kind of changes every single season, like which guns are good and which guns aren't so good.
Yeah.
You just have to kind of get used to it. I mean, sometimes it's an AR and sometimes it's a pistol.
Yeah, it changes.
And sometimes it's shotguns.
Yeah. Got a lot of the damage done. I still gotta do 500 more, but better than 2,000. Yeah. Darn it, we got #1 again. Shoot. We'll try better next time. Alright, well, Dusty, do you want to do your outro? I'm about to head out.
Sure. Thank you all for watching. This has been me, Dusty Circuit here. It's some Fortnite with Skade. If you liked what you saw, remember to leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you want to see my next videos, be sure to hit the bell for notifications. Peace out.
Peace out. Ringer, ringer, ringer.
Ring, 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 ring.
Ringer, ringer, ringer.